Thank you, Erin. That's probably the nicest things anyone has ever said about my poetry. So now I'm feeling quite nervous. I just want to say thank you. You've been amazing this last year. Thank you to Broken Sleep for picking up this sort of strange collection of poems. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to tonight because I have never read these poems in public before. So they are still a bit of a mystery to me and still a little bit unfamiliar. So forgive me if I stumble over some of the lines. I usually have talking points for at least a few of my poems, but not tonight. These poems came really quickly. They were written in a 1-week period, which is very, very unusual for me. So I'll just begin. The first one is called False Protagonist. In the unforgiving light of the bread aisle, I admit I've asked questions above my counsel's leavened wisdom. Collagen is not a problem for bread, is it? More of a statement, they sit there expressionless, beautifully risen, such good listeners. Mostly, given their proclivity towards structure, I ask about purpose. What happens to the roots of felled wheat? Do they remain tangled in the earth's darkness, thirsty? Bread finds abstraction like this bewildering. I tell them of equal measure, a woman, barely a woman really, grown peripheral to her own story. And this next poem is quite a long sequence. It's called Sadness, Too Easy a Description. 1, I'm circling a feeling, the act of which is easy to describe, like a hawk circling prey, like water circling a drain, the usual circling metaphors. The feeling itself is ineffable, elusive even. Remember that white albino squirrel we spotted on the golf course? Rarer than winning the lottery, the internet said. Both incredible and incredibly disappointing. We had our phones that day and didn't even take a photo, preferring the memory to the actual image in case we should discover later it was really light brown. Or maybe we couldn't be bothered. That's how memory is, unsure. 2, taste. From winter branches, we pull all the days of summer, parceled into fist-sized suns. There is a word for this in Portuguese, tattooed on my sister's neck, like a branding she can't escape, doesn't want to. It's a secret pet that needs feeding. 3, touch. 2 girls clap out, sweet, sweet baby, down by the roller coaster. And something reaches out from the vault of me. Sweet, sweet baby, I'll never let you go. Perhaps an ache to be them again. I would not choose to go back either. 4, sight. Standing on the outside of a well-lit house, looking in, especially on a cold, dark night, mist, fog, light drizzle. It's strange, remembering something you may not have personally experienced. The scene of so many Christmas films. You did just watch Home Alone after all. 5, sound. I will describe it by what it's not. Silence, a common misconception. Both children will wake if the house has too much of it. 6, smell. Mourning the loss of something while you still have it. That place where you give yourself permission to gently wallow, the desert after it rains. And this next poem is called Middling a Soliloquy. Bullshit-friendly neighbors, middle-aged, middle class, do not wake the kids, snotty sleeves, no snacks. Ill-fitting dresses, weekends at home, spousal microaggressions, imposter syndrome. Paycheck to paycheck, dead-end career. I regret having kids. Skin tags, souvenirs. Date night antithesis, frumpy attire, parent-child matching outfits, current behavior, cringe spiral. No time anxiety, the saggy tit show, midweek sobriety. My kids know the password to my phone. And I'll finish with a prose poem called Those 2 Years, a Portrait. Start with the hairline, apparently. Treat it as abstraction. A cliff or a coastline would be obvious. A garden border is too, although explosions of pampas grass, like your temper. So much fuss, so much meaning attributed to the eyes. Paint them as strawberries and think about all the people thinking about the meaning of strawberry eyes. Lips move, practicing the act of speaking. Color them a cherry red, because this is the shade you think all grown women wear. The language you are inhabiting is the way you think all grown women speak. Also at this time, you consider the height of glamour to be sips of Diet Coke between long drags off a Camel Light for breakfast, a lipstick-stained butt. Waves crash out of ears, the white noise can be felt to this day, soothing like the sounds permeating through the partition wall at night. You rethink the eyes, acknowledging that strawberries were an annoyingly coy thing to do. They should be black as your sister's first boyfriends, the one who beat her. Paint them as ink stains because she hid it like you grew up in a family of violence, because it was so not obvious in hindsight. Your guilt is an ink stain for always making this about you. Hell, paint the nose job you wanted, paint the smell of orange blossoms in early spring as if the whole world lived in the olfactory paradise of your childhood. Remember, angular features, e.g. strong a jawline, equals confidence and manliness in goodies, equals aggression and predatory behavior in baddies. This means that, depending on the time of day, the portrait can either evoke positive traits, conscientiousness, or negative ones, neuroticism, or both simultaneously, e.g., an epic display of road rage while striving to visit your grandmother. In the background, different versions of your signature, like a form of dress up, because you had the time to endlessly graffiti on notebooks, on trees and desks, on forearms. There is a photograph of you at 15 looking like a boy. There's a photograph of you at 17 looking like a Barbie. These will make you feel lesser for the rest of your life. Marvel at how, in those 2 years, everything seemed so slow moving while you waited for your life to begin, while you lived your life like you were on horseback. Thank you.